Understanding the power within you and the intrinsic ability to sharpen your focus is the key to unlocking a more potent you. So, let's look at it this way. Think about your vision. Sometimes it's like a wide-angle camera lens, capturing an entire panorama, but with fuzzy details. At other times, it's more like a zoom lens, pinning down to the finest details, but losing the biggest picture. Now, imagine this. You can harness the flexibility in your vision to improve your mental focus. You can essentially level up your brain's capability. One man who has spent years studying these techniques is neuroscientist Andrew Huberman. Through his work, we've come to understand the concept of neuroplasticity better, the brain's amazing ability to reshape itself in response to our experiences. Huberman tells us that the gateway to neuroplasticity is being fully awake, fully alert, and it's a state achievable through a gamut of emotions ranging from love and joy to fear. Yet, what if we need a little boost? Sometimes we turn to substances to help sharpen our focus, like the old caffeine, a familiar friend to many. Remember how it keeps you alert during those marathon meetings or late-night study sessions? That's because caffeine blocks a molecule called adenosine, naturally produced in your body to make you sleepy. As a result, you remain alert and awake, ready to face the challenge head-on. But there's another drug garnering attention lately: Adderall. Essentially, it's a type of amphetamine. This stimulant triggers a rush of wakefulness, inducing epinephrine in the brain. Its popularity has surged, particularly amongst people seeking improved focus. Yet, we gotta tread with caution. Adderall has been clinically proven to assist with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but without a proper prescription, it's easily able to be misused, tipping the scales towards addiction. Moreover, the heightened sense of alertness it offers doesn't necessarily equate to improved focus, as it doesn't significantly affect the acetylcholine system, the neurotransmitter responsible for attention and learning. In layman's terms, Adderall might make you feel more alert, but it doesn't necessarily help you focus better. This is a critical distinction that often goes unnoticed and requires the guidance of mental health professionals for clarity. Stepping away from pharmaceuticals, we can also work on improving our focus through behavioral practices, particularly those involving visual focus. And here's a fascinating bit about our eyes. They can switch between two modes of focus. You can narrow down your vision to scrutinize a small portion of what you see in extreme detail, or you can broaden your vision to absorb more of the scene, albeit at a lower resolution. The pupil of your eye is the master orchestrator of this operation, adjusting the amount of light entering your eyes to allow for sharper or broader focus. The part of your eye with the highest concentration of light-sensing cells, the fovea, is primarily responsible for central vision and details. This mechanism explains why we can see things clearly at the center of our visual field, but the clarity decreases towards the periphery. But how does this relate to mental focus? Let's consider an experiment, shall we? Extend your hand in front of you and count your fingers. Assuming no mishaps have befallen you, you'll count 5, or you just weren't born with 6. So now, without moving your eyes and your hand out in front of you, try to count your fingers when your hand is off to one side. Can't quite make it out, can you? This simple demonstration illustrates our visual system's innate ability to concentrate and focus, and provide a tangible way to visualize and understand the process of honing your mental focus. The visual and mental realms of focus are inextricably linked, showing us a tangible path to improving our ability to concentrate and achieve more. After all, a sharper focus paves the way for a sharper mind, and who doesn't want that? So let's dive deeper into this, step by step, in a more relatable manner. You know when you initially glance at something, it might appear blurry or lacking in detail, but the moment that you deliberately shift your attention to it, the object suddenly comes to life, showing its intricate details, color, textures. Well, that's because the core part of our eyes, the region we look through directly, is packed with more receptors compared to the peripheral vision. To put it in context a little bit, let's relate this to a familiar scene. Imagine standing in a crowded place, like a bustling city street or a busy concert. There are people and activities everywhere, but your vision is drawn to one particular site. That's because our gaze typically focuses on the central region of our visual field. And as a result, our eyes converge, a phenomenon referred to as the vergence eye movement. Not virgin's eye movement, like some of you. In this process, the lens of your eye also adjusts, forming a focused, cone-like visual field, rather than the usual panoramic view our brain's used to. It's kind of like looking through a soda straw, a narrower but more precise perspective. It's the equivalent of zooming in with a camera to capture a close-up of an object or a person, providing a more vivid and detailed image compared to a wide-angle shot. Now, at this juncture, you might question, this makes sense for visual attention, but how does it correlate with mental focus? Well, The fascinating fact is that our eyes act as an anchor for our brain's ability to concentrate. And we'll touch upon those without sight shortly, but for now, understand that mastering your visual focus can significantly enhance your cognitive or mental focus, even when performing physical tasks. Let's look at an interesting example to explain this phenomenon. Certain animals, like cows, sheep, or even birds, have their eyes positioned on the sides of their heads. These creatures are perpetually scanning their surroundings, and they're seemingly incapable of concentrating on one particular object or task. However, have you ever wondered how a bird can pick up tiny seeds from the ground with pinpoint accuracy? Despite their eyes being set to the sides of their head, they exhibit an extraordinary sense of precision, and they do this without damaging their beaks or crashing into the ground. Think about it. How do they manage such precision? How do they focus directly ahead? Here comes the captivating part. These birds perform a vergence eye movement. As they drop their beaks to peck at the seeds, their eyes move slightly inward. Of course, a bird's eyes are fixed and can't move around in their skull like ours do. This inward eye movement triggers the activation of a cluster of neurons in the brainstem, leading to the release of a certain chemical, norepinephrine, epinephrine, and acetylcholine, and these substances help in creating a more focused field of view. When we are relaxed, our eyes sit comfortably in their sockets. We're either looking around or casually, or resting with our eyes looking up or ahead. And this fascinating aspect is the correlation between our narrowed visual field and the release of chemicals like acetylcholine and epinephrine. So when our eyes move slightly inward towards a specific visual target, these substances are released in specific areas of our brain. These areas are involved with plasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and change. Now, the reason why I relate this to Andrew Huberman is because he's a neuroscientist who has extensively researched the connection between vision, attention, and the brain. See, his work demonstrates how our eyes and brain work together to concentrate and together to process information, and how certain behaviors and eye movements can influence our cognitive abilities. The phenomenon we discussed ties directly into his work, and it's fascinating to realize that how we use our eyes can dramatically affect our mental attention and our focus. Focusing. It's a fundamental requirement for success in any task, especially ones that demand meticulous analysis, like deciphering complex scientific material. As Andrew Huberman, the esteemed neuroscientist, would affirm, the real art of learning, absorbing, and understanding lies in how well you can concentrate. If you're struggling with attention and focus, there's something that you're probably missing: training your eyes. It might sound surprising, but your eyes, akin to your muscles, need to be exercised for them to perform at their peak. Picture this. You're attempting to understand a daunting scientific paper, yet somehow the text keeps losing your interest. You might think, hey, you're looking directly at the page or the screen, but in actuality, your eyes might be distracted, gathering unnecessary stimuli from your surroundings. Let's say you're in my shoes. As someone who loves a strong cup of coffee and hydrates adequately while making sure to get sufficient sleep, concentration shouldn't be a problem, right? Yet, often I find that focusing my eyes for just a minute or two on the narrow window of my screen with no other distractions before them actually greatly amplifies my ability to grasp information. So here you see the potency of training your eyes. Think of it like exercise for your pupils, sharpening your visual perception. Even if you rely on glasses or contacts to rectify vision issues, they just aid. And I certainly wasn't thinking about blinking beforehand, but now it's all I can think about. Anyways, in light of Andrew Huberman's pioneering work, harnessing control of your visual window can be a formidable gateway to cognitive plasticity. He elucidates how the mastery of focus engages brain structures like the nucleus basalis, fostering neuroplasticity. On this journey towards better focus, a common question involves ADHD and ADD. Yet, there are individuals diagnosed with ADHD, and it's crucial for them to seek professional psychiatric advice for effective treatment. However, there are others who, due to irregular behaviors in social settings or an incessant attraction towards their mobile devices, have self-diagnosed mild forms of ADHD or ADD. In today's digital age, our devices can act as attention magnets. They make it so hard to hold our focus on something else, yet by utilizing and mastering the techniques espoused by Andrew Huberman, like eye training, we can reclaim control of our attention and unlock our full cognitive potential. This not only helps us get more work done, which, nice, but also helps us understand and learn difficult subjects more easily. making them less overwhelming. I mean, we live in a world that's getting smaller every day thanks to the digital revolution. This vast and vivid virtual world draws us in, holding our attention captive with dynamic, flashy videos and graphics that we consume relentlessly on platforms like YouTube. Ooh, monkey like shiny lights. See, our minds are magnetically drawn to motion. The busier and the more vibrant, the better. But have you ever paused to wonder what this ceaseless consumption of moving media does to your brain? Well, the concept is really simple, but it's so powerful. Our brains are like microscopes. They zoom in to observe and absorb what we're consuming right before us. With the size of our focus area being rather small, we're tuned to pick up on movement as if it signals something significant happening that we got to attend to. That's the evolutionary survival instinct talking. The rustle in the bushes might be a predator, after all. So today, this innate attraction towards motion has been hijacked by digital media, which capitalizes on our instinctive gravitation towards movement. So this leaves less cognitive room for the quieter, more static stimuli, like the written word or spoken discourse. I'm sure you all know when's the last time any of you read a book. I certainly haven't in a long time. Now imagine a scene, one that seems mundane and perhaps even boring in today's hyper-stimulated world. Reading a book. Yeah, like I just said, no moving images, no loud noises, just the tranquil sound of turning pages and your own thoughts as company. Some may argue that that's dull, but let's delve a little bit deeper into what's actually happening in this seemingly dull act. This seemingly tranquil thing. So when you read, you're not just passively receiving information, you're engaged in an active cognitive process. You're visualizing the scenes, empathizing with the characters, ruminating over ideas, forming opinions, and decoding the language. These activities are essential life skills that determine not just our success in professional and personal endeavors, but also the health of our brain, which is pretty important. They enable us to be self-reliant and foster our mental well-being. Take, for instance, the activation of the cholinergic system for plasticity, the vital process in our brain associated with learning and memory. When we focus actively on something, no matter how minute or intricate the detail, we trigger the system more effectively. It's like watering a seed in our garden of knowledge, nurturing it to bloom into a flower of understanding, rather than simply looking like a fully blossomed flower in a movie and admiring it from afar. The latter may be aesthetically pleasing, but it doesn't contribute much to our personal growth or cognitive expansion. And here's the crux of the issue. The cognitive energy in our brain, the chemical resources that power it, they're not limitless. Every moment that we spend mindlessly consuming moving media is a moment spent depleting our precious cognitive reserves without any substantial return on our investments. Like, seriously, any returns. We might be left with fleeting impressions, momentary excitement, but what do you remember? I mean, I know that that's something that I talk about with my girlfriend and other people. Like, what do you remember from all the shorts? Like, 5 minutes later, what do you still know? Anyways, therefore, we gotta be judicious in choosing where we direct our attention. Our ability to focus on our performance and demanding tasks hinge on how we allocate our cognitive resources. We need to veer away from passive consumption and gravitate towards more active engagement with our surroundings and the information that we consume. Just take a moment to reflect on your daily life, your activities. How often do you find yourself engaged in tasks that demand your full attention? How well do you do when you are faced with challenging tasks? Evaluate and be mindful of your cognitive spending. Learn to step back from the ceaseless stream of moving media, allowing your mind to quiet that it needs to read, or as I call it, not solitude, the quietude, to read, ponder, learn actively. In a world that is spinning round faster than ever, we gotta consciously slow down our cognitive pace. We gotta invest in our mental energies in pursuits that actively enrich us. They expand our horizons and contribute to our overall well-being. The power to shape our cognitive future is in our hands, and it's time that we wield it wisely. Sleep, the magical element of life that rejuvenates the mind and the body, can't be understated. Having insufficient sleep is like trying to drive a car without gas. It can leave your brain feeling out of sync, unable to tackle the day ahead with vigor. We ain't robots. Our bodies need rest. A lack of sleep can really just wreak havoc on our ability to focus and concentrate and be a human being. In a fast-paced world where every moment counts, dedicating 7 to 8 hours to the world of dreams might seem indulgent, might seem excessive, yet it's fundamental. Do not shortchange yourself. Instead, relish in the peaceful embrace of restful sleep to give your brain the much-needed energy for the next day. When the morning beckons and the bright rays of the sun cascade through your window, let that warmth motivate you to start the day with a healthy breakfast. Not just any breakfast, mind you, but one that will fuel your body with long-lasting energy. Avoid the quick and easy temptation of sugary cereals and pastries that offer a rush of energy only to leave you feeling sluggish in the mid-morning. Instead, opt for nutrient-rich foods that offer a good balance of protein and fiber. I'm sure you know where this one's going. You got eggs, oatmeal in measured quantities, and yogurt, also in somewhat measured quantities depending on what type of yogurt you get. Such a breakfast doesn't just satiate your hunger, but it also actually revs up your brain to meet the challenges of the day. You are fueling your brain and your body, you can't put diesel in your gas slot. You get what I'm saying. The merits of regular exercise stretch far beyond physical fitness. Exercise isn't just a routine for your body, it's a therapy for your mind. The positive correlation between exercise and brain function is undeniable. As you move, you invigorate your body, you enhance blood flow to every corner of your being, including the brain. And this can significantly amplify your ability to concentrate and focus. Challenge yourself with at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise most days of the week. As your heart rate accelerates, your mind sharpens, paves the way for an exceptionally productive day. Continuous work, while seemingly productive, can actually lead to burnout, a detestable foe of focus. And to avoid this arduous adversary, incorporate regular breaks into your schedule. Every 20 to 30 minutes, allow yourself the liberty of a small recess. Get up from your seat, stretch your limbs, breathe in some fresh air, go outside, take a fart, who cares? Let your mind wander for a while. I actually probably should say that. These brief pauses can re-energize your brain, bringing about a sense of rejuvenation that bolsters your concentration when you return to the task at hand. Meditation might seem mystical or distant, but it holds the key to an unexpected, unexplored realm of focus and concentration. So, different types of meditation, they suit different people differently. Go figure. So, embark on a journey to find the one that resonates with you. The practice of meditating regularly can serve as a tool to quiet your mind, enhance self-awareness, and ultimately improve your focus. And even if you don't meditate in the traditional sense, sitting in quiet with zero distractions and just thinking about what needs being thought about can also be nice. So, there is an abundance of potential distractions in our environment, especially in the era of digital information. Your phone could buzz, you got a new message, your computer could bing, get a new notification as well. You're spiraling down the rabbit hole of distraction before you even know it. Everything's trying to grab your attention, and to avoid this, try and create a dedicated workspace, a bit of a sanctuary where you can work with minimal interruptions. Your environment can play a massive role in facilitating or hindering your focus. It's okay to admit if you're struggling with focus and you need professional help. Therapists and counselors exist for that very purpose, to help you navigate through your difficulties. They can help you pinpoint the underlying reasons for your difficulty focusing and devise strategies tailored specifically to your needs, guiding you towards improved focus. Here are some additional nuggets of wisdom from renowned neuroscientist Andrew Huberman. He suggests a technique called chunking, chunky nuggets, where you break down extensive tasks into smaller, more digestible nuggets. Chunks. This method prevents the feeling of being overwhelmed, and it allows you to maintain your focus longer. So set specific, measurable goals for yourself and keep track of your progress. This not only helps maintain focus, but it also fosters a sense of achievement and motivation. Don't forget to reward yourself for your accomplishments, no matter how small they might seem. Positive reinforcement promotes the behavior of staying focused and completing tasks. It's great. Implementing these strategies is just an introductory move towards gaining an abundance of knowledge that could sculpt you into an individual with laser-like precision in achieving goals. Remember, life isn't a quick race, it's a long-distance run.